Hello everybody and welcome to my video, Getting Tidier. I hope you're all well, and as I record this it's Sunday evening, so I hope you all had a lovely weekend. So the first few clips show what you can expect in this video. So I do a mammoth sort out of my husband's clothes with my husband's help. I literally put everything, all of his clothes on the bed, and we sort through everything. And I get rid of 2 massive great bags. You'll see me sorting out the Lego with my husband and daughter. We're not giving up on that project anytime soon. You'll see me preparing and bringing in all the fire ready for all the woods and everything ready for the fire. And you'll see me doing a lot of work in the kitchen. So please drop a note in the comments if you haven't already told me where you're from. I love knowing where subscribers are from, as we've got people from up and down the United Kingdom. We've got people from Ireland, France, Germany, Switzerland, Australia, New Zealand, India, Canada, all different parts of the United States, with lots of people in Texas, Virginia, Colorado, Virginia, so many different places. So if you haven't already shared where you're from, we'd all love to know. And I'd also love to know where you are on your journey. So are you somebody who's really tidy and organised, and you're interested in seeing how other people are trying to get a bit more like you? Or are you someone who's quite like me? So the house is quite clean, okay sometimes, but you're also really quite untidy. Is that you? Do you have too much stuff like I have realised that I have? Are you in the process of getting rid of things and decluttering? Please do drop a note in the comments, because we all would love to know. So thank you for those of you that have added comments, suggestions and ideas to my channel to date. So many of them I've implemented, so thank you for your suggestions. And some of them are on a list of things I want to implement, such as the idea about a seat outside with storage. I love that idea. I've moved things around in the kitchen. I've changed the layout of the cupboards. I've taken things off the top of the kitchen cupboards. I've moved tables around, all sorts, because you suggested things and I thought, great idea. I've never thought about that. I'll give that a try. So we've had a nice Sunday. We got up quite early this morning. Of course, all the clocks changed. I don't know whether that's something that's done around the world. I guess it's done in parts of Europe, but I don't know whether it's done wider than that. But the clocks changed on Saturday, which meant we got an extra hour in bed. Although I'm not sure it really felt like that, because this time of the year, I think everyone feels like they want to hibernate. But my husband got us up, out and ready to go to church. My daughter came upstairs into our room and said, I want to go back to sleep. My husband was like, come on, we need to go to church. So we went to church, and nice service, some really good songs. So that was nice. We came home briefly to get our gym clothes and swim clothes. So we all went to the gym. And then my husband and daughter finished the gym a bit earlier and they went for a swim. And then we had showers, washed hair and everything, and came home. So my daughter has got some work to do, schoolwork, and I did some work in the house. Whilst my husband cooked roast dinner, honestly, the best roast of the year. Really nice roast dinner. And you'll see a little clip of me harvesting my Chinese artichokes. I'm really pleased about these. Chinese artichokes have got numerous health benefits. I'll talk a little bit about that later. So you can see in the video, that's Saturday evening, that I'm tidying up in the kitchen. I felt really tempted just to sit where I was of the evening, but my husband had done all the dinner, so I decided to go in and do the washing up. And there's also some things left over from me and my daughter made some crispy cakes, so you'll see a little clip of that right at the very end as well. What I'm finding is, because we are washing up on a regular basis, the kitchen is much quicker to get on top of, and it doesn't seem to be such a big chore. There are quite a few things on the side, so you can see the crispy cake container and some of the crispy cakes. the Rice Krispies. There's some Diet Coke left out. That Diet Coke, I think it was bought for my birthday, because you know we don't have much by way of fizzy drinks, and it's sat in the pantry for absolutely ages. So I had a Malibu and Coke on Saturday night. And then you can see the oven is kept quite clear. There's one saucepan there, but all the other saucepans we're regularly putting away in the cupboard. So things are much easier and much quicker. So that's really positive. Also, we've changed the plan a little bit with the Lego. So what we're doing is, as soon as we've got a complete set, I'm then putting it on various pages to sell. What I had been thinking, I was going to get all the Lego done and then start advertising it. And I suddenly thought I could be getting it out of the house now. So I've put the first set, which my husband and daughter has completed, I've now advertised. We've got three other sets, which are nearly complete. There's just a few pieces missing. My husband was going to order the missing pieces online. I think they're 26p each, but then you have to pay postage. So he decided it was much better to wait and find all the missing pieces and then order them all at once. But the thing is, when we all work on that together, the three of us, we can really get quite a lot done. My husband and daughter are much better at building than me. I'm not very particularly good at building, but I'm quite good at finding the pieces. So they were saying to me, right, I need this piece in yellow. And I was going all the way through the yellow. And I managed to find quite a few pieces. That did make me laugh though. My daughter got given, in the Lego shop in London, she got given the botanical flowers. And actually they're really lovely. There's a dandelion, you know, like the wind chime sort of one. The wind, whatever the shape that you call it, you know, that you blow to see what time of day it is. And then there's the flower of the dandelion and another piece. And she crazed to open it and build it. And I thought, oh my goodness, we're trying to build all the open sets. But at the end of the day, I said, yes, that's fine if you want to build it. So she sat and made it. And they do look really nice. I might put them in a vase on my mantelpiece, you know, to collect a bit more dust. So the Lego project is slowly progressing, and as we finish sets or nearly finish sets, they're going upstairs into my daughter's old playroom. So that's meaning the lounge is more and more clear. But we have got a deadline of my husband's birthday. So that really is not very long in order to spend as much time on it as possible and to get it really almost finished before we think about putting the Christmas tree up. And then the reason why we did such a big declutter and review of all my husband's clothes was that I kept thinking about that drawer, and a couple of you reminded me, thank you, because you knew that was causing that barrier, that problem with the washing. It's really causing a big problem with the laundry. The fact that one of the main drawers where all his clothes go is locked shut and we can't open it. So I forget what my husband said that he was going to do this afternoon. And I said, well, instead of that, it was like a job in the house or garden. I said, instead of that, would we be able to together sort the drawer out? So he said, yes, let's do that. And then while I had him there, I thought, great, we can sort out the clothes. So I started by taking all the clothes out of the two drawers and literally going through item by item. And he was a little bit like, well, that's really comfortable. I really like wearing that. But then we started putting like with like a number of you have said to me about doing. And I know Sean Daniels always says this to me. So I then piled up all like the T-shirts, the shirts, the trousers, the pyjama tops, the pyjama bottoms. And then he could really see what he'd got. And I said, I know that all, like, for instance, if somebody likes wearing shorts more than trousers, there's no point having loads and loads of summer trousers, is there? So we went through everything like that. But then after we did quite a lot, he then needed to go downstairs and start on the dinner. So I continued, and how I did it, because a lot of the things I needed to check with him, I didn't want to just get rid of stuff. But I went through all the socks. Any socks with holes in had just gone into the bin. I matched some socks up. There were some other clothes that did have holes in. He's got some lovely like chino sort of trousers that he's has for birthday and Christmas, but boy, has he worn them so much that there's like wear sort of marks on the front of the legs and a couple of stains, and he was wearing them for work. And I thought, yes, there is a bit more wear left in them, but they really don't look very smart and they really don't look very nice. And he'd got a couple of new pairs, so I said, well, I think we should get rid of those. So as I was working, he then came up a couple of times, and then I don't think he realised, but the smaller drawers on the right hand side that you might have seen in some of the videos, we both sort of forget about them. They're not very big, but they have a mix, some of his items and some of mine. So I took all of them out, and then while he was in the kitchen, I went downstairs into our guest bedroom where he has got a chest of drawers, and I took all the clothes out of them, put them in a linen basket and brought them upstairs and emptied them on the bed. So apart from a few things that he's got in the wardrobe, I put all of his clothes on here. And I've taken out, if there's like smart shirts, like that you'd wear like for black tie events or for an interview, they are going to go permanently into the wardrobe in the guest room, because there's no point in him having them folded up in drawers in here because he so rarely wears them. I've also taken out all the sports tops, so Norwich City football shirts, rugby shirts when he's supporting England. I've taken them out, and they're going to go in the chest of drawers downstairs because they're not things that are worn frequently. And then you'll watch me as I slowly get through the piles, putting them in the different drawers. He's also got some cycling things, and I needed to check that with him. The pair of sort of bib shorts that he wears for cycling, it's got a massive hole in them. So he's going to ask for a new pair for birthday because he's worn them so much. They really are past it, but he likes wearing them. I think if you're into cycling, then there's certain things that you prefer to wear over other things. So you can see there is really quite a lot there, and I'm so pleased to think there's 2 big white bags that we've taken out of this room. Obviously some of the things, I suppose some of them would have been downstairs where I took them out of the drawer, but in the main, the things that have come out of this room. So I'm really pleased. And then the fact that I'm taking the sports items out, the smart shirts, the long sleeve shirts out of this room, and then how I've put things back. The drawer which we've fixed, I'd say fixed in inverted commas, because it's only a short-term fix. If we push the drawer all the way back, it still falls off the runner. It's such a shame, but the bed was made for us, like bespoke, when we had the loft conversion done in 2012. And those drawers have been heavily used and heavily packed with stuff ever since, really, and they've not been treated gently. Often in the mornings my husband will pull the drawer out and then slam it shut. So the fact they've lasted this long is good, really. So in terms of a longer term fix, my husband's going to have to take the whole drawer out and redo like the runner, because there's the runner which is slightly off, which needs to be fixed. So in the short term, I've just put underwear and socks in that drawer, and you can't completely close it because if you completely close it, it falls off the runner. So it's a bit of a pain, but at least it's open, and at least as a result of all the drawer problem, we've gone through all the clothes. So you can see in the video that pair of chinos that I mentioned. Nice pair of chinos from Next. I'm not a big Next fan, if I'm honest, but I have found that they do really nice trousers for my husband. So he's had a few pairs from Next. So they did end up going into the charity bag. And in the drawer next to where I'm standing, that ended up being trousers and some hoodie tops. And then in the little set of drawers, you'll see later on in the video, I've done one line of t-shirts and shirts. and then one which is half sort of t-shirts, and then this big fleece. He's got this massive, massive, great fleece that me and my daughter bought a couple of years ago for when it gets really cold and like we're in the house on a Sunday, and he'll put that on. He doesn't really feel the cold. Like today, I'll have 2 or 3 layers on, whereas he's just got a t-shirt on. But when it gets like in the middle of winter, then he sometimes might put that fleece on. And then the middle drawer, I forget what I put in that. I'll have to see when I watch the further part of that video. So I hope you're all well. I wanted to say thank you very, very much for your support with the charity. So by the time you watch this, it's possibly going to be November. And I would have probably already announced how much we raised for the whole month, because obviously when I record this, it's now the end of October, but you probably won't watch the video until November because of how it comes out. But for the month of October, it's currently on £172.74. You know, I know that to many people that won't be a large amount of money, but that's the most money in a month my channel has ever made. And the fact that that's all being given to charity, I think is very exciting. So it looks like my most popular video for the month of October was the video entitled Massive Decluttering for the Dining Room. And the second one was Kitchen Recovery, Fly Lady, Shining Sink. I think it's really interesting to see the ones that are most popular. And there must be something about dining room, because when I look at September, the top video was clearing the dining room, part of my decluttering journey. And the second one was Fly Lady, No Way Today. So you might see I start copying some of the titles to see whether that encourages more people to view them. So I'm going to go through some of your comments now. So thank you very much for those of you that add comments. As you know, I read every one of them. I comment, I reply to most of them, and then I'll read through some of them on my channel, because it's great to hear your views, your ideas and your suggestions. So the first comment I'm going to read through is from Ali Tristan. And Ali says, been decluttering my house for the past month now. Many a tip run, charity shop run and cash for clothes run. It's tiring. Well, thank you for letting me know. It sounds like you're doing a great job. A month in, you've got rid of loads. Great work. Homeschool teens with Jenny. Jenny says, I've never been to that side of England before. Norwich. I hope I spelt it correctly. I'm going to have to add that to my list of places to visit. Those last shots you included were gorgeous. Thank you for your comment, Jenny. I'm glad you liked the clips. Yes, you have spelt Norwich correctly. And when you come and visit, then drop me a message and I'll give you some other suggested places to go. But Norwich, there are so many places to visit in Norwich. And then you've got so many places in Norfolk to visit. You've got beautiful market towns, you've got Walsingham, you've got the Norfolk Broads, you can hire a boat, you've got the coastline. All around Holt is a beautiful market town. North Norfolk, where you've got Blakeney, Sheringham, Cromer, so many places to visit. So I'm glad it's on your list of places to go. I think you'll love it. My next comment I'm going to go through is about my Vax Hoover review video. It does make me laugh because now there seems to be a lot of adverts for Vax Hoovers on my channel. So it's obviously picking up in the algorithms. So Lisa Burke says, oh Emma, I would send that product back since it is not extracting all of the water. It's also not extracting all of the cleaning solution. Over time, the solution remaining on the carpet will attract more dirt. Oh no. My full-size Bizzle carpet cleaner with accessories sucks up most of the water to where the finished product is only slightly damp. A small fan blowing on the area has it dry in a couple of hours. Good luck. Lizzie William Hawthorne says, spring summer job, Emma. I've always used carpet cleaners for expensive rugs successfully. That one I wouldn't say is the best I've come across. It should take out so much more dirty water. And personally, I would take it out and hang it over something out there to freshen and dry. Otherwise, Emma, be devil to clean, and all you need to do is put the heating on and they will soon dry. It'll be lovely, I'm sure, Emma, but an upright vax is a better investment, I think. I agree, overkill on the products. We just need one cleaning product. I would send it back and spend a bit more on an upright with attachments. Good luck with the rest of the house, from Lizzie. Thank you for your comment, Lizzie. The only thing is absolutely no way I could use an upright vax hoover on my old rug. I can't use an upright Dyson hoover on my old rug. That's why, you know, people say to me, why are you crawling about on the floor with a dustbin and brush or the little handheld hoover? Because if I used a full-size hoover, honestly, the rug would just kind of suck up into the hoover. And although there is a lifetime limit on this rug, I do like it, and it might be old, but I like it. So I want to keep it as long as possible. And the thing is, with the upright vax, I'm not going to be able to use that on the stairs, am I? So I'll then lose the amount of places that I can actually use it for. I suppose I could use it in the loft room. My daughter's room is not going to have carpet in the future, but is a bit of a shame that I couldn't get so much of the water out. I do think part of it was user error, because it got better over time, but still there was a lot of water left. Although the stairs carpet was probably dry a day later. So it's hard to tell. Judy says, Emma, you really need to do this in the summer. I have the Vax spot wash. I also have the Vax carpet cleaner. A few tips. Firstly, I would only use it for spots rather than the rug or carpet, as it's hard on the knees. And you need to put your whole body weight on the drawback to suck up the water. Okay, that's interesting. The more water you put down, the harder and longer you'll have to work on it to draw the water up. But you really need to throw your whole body weight behind it. Okay, Judy, thank you. I didn't realise that. Spray the area with detergent and leave it for a few minutes before you work on it. Okay, that's a really helpful post. Thank you. Then Linda Thornton says, I don't think you should use on a wool rug. They should go to a professional shop to clean. I'm not sure where in England you can take rugs to be cleaned. I don't think there is anywhere. So I did ask Linda, what about my wool carpets? And Linda says wool absorbs the water, so it should be cleaned by a professional. That's interesting, because all my carpets, apart from the carpet that's going to be ripped up in my daughter's room, and in the guest room, that's more synthetic, but all the other carpets are very high percentage wool. Darcy Rose says, sorry to post this. Can you please let me know how to get my details to you to send my ladybird, please? And I replied to Dulcie, letting her know how to make contact with me, and I have received your email, Dulcie. Now, I am notoriously bad at posting things, but that is a job. Now I've got everybody, I think I've got everybody's details. So I'm going to sit down, tomorrow I'm going to get some envelopes, some padded envelopes, and then I'm going to sit down and I'm going to put all the addresses on all the envelopes, and I'm going to sort all of that out early next week. And then once I've gone to the post office, I'll let you all know that they're on the way to you. I'm guessing some are going to get there much, much quicker than others. So you can see on the video, the pile on the left are mostly hoodies and trousers that are going to be kept. And then I was just checking through some other things, just again trying to put like with like. So when my husband came back up, because at this point he was putting the vegetables on, I think. So when he then came up, I would be able to show him, well, you've got this amount of shorts, this amount of trousers, and he then went through to choose which ones he wanted to keep. And so while I was then sort of waiting for him, I then decided to take the covers off the bed because my husband was going to change all of those. I find it very difficult to change a double or a king size quilt. Certainly a king size quilt is a real struggle. So that isn't something that I have jumped to the front of the queue to do. My husband's very good at doing that. I was also thinking earlier, after I ate this roast dinner, I was thinking to myself, or I'll have to mention that to you. So I'm going to share something with you, but I'd rather you not tell anybody else. As you know, I'm in my 40s and I have never cooked a roast dinner. Never, ever. I mean, I've cooked like a piece of chicken, some potatoes and some broccoli and some beans for my daughter, but never have I cooked a roast dinner like what my husband did today. So he cooked a whole chicken with stuffing. Then we had Jerusalem artichokes, roast potatoes, roast parsnips, Chinese artichokes, broccoli, onion. I think that was everything. I've never done that. And the way that I look at it is, when someone in your house is so good at something, like my husband is so good doing a roast dinner, why would I possibly attempt to do a poor, it'd probably be quite a poor attempt when he's so good at doing it. So it's not something that I've ever embarked on. Now, I've mentioned these Chinese artichokes again, so I wanted to let you know how good they are. So I'm really excited. I asked for Chinese artichokes for my birthday, really didn't think I was going to get them. And then my sister came round with these plants and I said, "Oh, what are they?" She said, "They're the Chinese artichokes you asked for." I was like, wow, I didn't think anybody was going to be able to find them for me. So I was really, really pleased. She got me a fantastic birthday present, actually. I was really lucky. I was really pleased with those plants. And I said, "Where did you get them from?" So she told me. So I then went back with some birthday money and got 2 more plants. So I planted up 4 plants in a container. Now, Chinese artichokes are really, really good for you. They're really versatile, so you can eat them raw, eat them boiled, eat them roasted. They're very, very good for digestion. There's some evidence that they can support liver function, and also very, very good in terms of helping your gut and your gut health. So they're considered a prebiotic because the type of fibre, and it promotes the good gut bacteria. So it's supposed to be really, really good. So if you look online, you'll find much more information than probably I'm even aware of. But they're delicious. And what I'm so pleased about, Jerusalem artichokes, I haven't really had a very good year with those. But these Chinese artichokes, there were loads. So I'm really, really pleased, particularly as it's the first year of me having them. So you can see at this point in the video, I've kind of broken the back of all the clothes. It's so much, isn't it? Once you get a massive great pile, it's like, oh my goodness, I've started, so I must finish. And then I started putting them in the drawers. Now, initially I started putting them in flat, but I knew what would happen. My husband would take the one that was at the top. Very unlikely he'd take one at the further down, but if he did, obviously they'd all then get in a muddle. So I've tried the little roll-up technique. I'm not quite sure how well that will last or whether it will last, but I do think that'll be much easier for him to see what he's got. And we also put in the bin, or sent to rags, a few sort of favourite t-shirts, but there's one in particular that had got so many holes. The last time of wearing it, somehow my husband sort of moved and that whole big section ripped, and it's got a couple of smaller holes around the collar, but it's one of his favourites and one of mine, so I did feel a bit sad really. But you can't keep things, can you? There's 2 t-shirts really that I haven't got rid of, but they are past it really. But the reason why I've kept them is because we got them when we were in China, and we loved going to the Chinese clothes markets. Basically, I think what happens is all the designer factories, they have one way out of the factory that goes to Milan and other places which sell premium products, and the other side of the factory there's a small door which takes a load of things to the Chinese markets. And if you go to the right places, they are products which premium products, and literally the t-shirts that he bought there, he's worn them. And if you think, when did we go to China? in about 2008. So a long time, but they are now to the point where you sort of look at them and think they do look a bit worn. So, you know, maybe when this is the first time I'm going through all my husband's clothes, so maybe when I look again, that will be a point where we can get rid of more. And then you can see that I'm in the kitchen after roast dinner. So you can see there's lots to do, lots to put away, and also lots of washing. So there were some things that needed to be washed that were on my husband's chair. Then there was the gym clothes, the swimming clothes. So that's all piled up. Also, because we've just taken all the covers off the bed, I could do a whitewash, which, as you know, I often say I don't always have enough washing to do a full whitewash. So I don't tend to do one every week, usually probably once a fortnight. But I've got loads of whitewashing. So I didn't put a load on because I was waiting. I said to my husband, can you bring the rest of the quilt down? I'd carried everything else down, but there was just the quilts and the sheet to come down. So then he came down, and we're going to put them on in the morning because my washing machine takes 2 hours, 20 minutes to do a white load. And that would then mean it was going on while we were asleep, which I didn't want to do. So I'll put that on first thing in the morning. In the past, I would have possibly not thought anything about the washing up. I'd have sat on the settee, we'd have watched a little bit of television, or I'd have done something else, looked at my phone a bit or whatever, and I wouldn't have thought about the kitchen until the next day. Whereas it's much more at the front of my mind that I need to go and clear the kitchen up. I don't know why I'm not better with that. I guess now we've been married so long, it just hasn't formed that habit. Because when I was at home, it was literally as soon as we'd all eaten, one person washed and one person wiped. And it was my job every other night to wipe up. And then I got some pocket money each week for doing that. So that was definitely a habit, and certainly my husband grew up in a house where that was very much of a habit. The dishwasher was loaded, or everything was washed up before they had a dishwasher. But I guess when we were newly married, we just didn't form some of those habits and get into the routine. But I'm getting there. So I managed to tidy up everything in the kitchen. The potatoes and parsnips, which we had extra, there were quite a few, unfortunately. So I got potatoes from the garden, and then my husband's also done some extra potatoes. But I hate the thought of my potatoes that I've grown going to waste. So I was thinking about those potatoes and parsnips to put them in a lunchbox and then to see what I could do with them tomorrow. So that's what I'm going to do. So I am getting towards the end of my video, and something that I wanted to share with you all, which is quite exciting, I think, is that I've decided that I am going to do my next giveaway when I get to 5,000 subscribers. And my next giveaway is going to be the theme of Mont Saint-Michel. Now, I know some of you have visited Mont Saint-Michel, and I know some of you are interested in visiting Mont Saint-Michel. So for those of you that aren't aware, Mont Saint-Michel is in Normandy, France, and it's known for its medieval style fortified abbey on a rocky island. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and millions of people visit every year. Absolutely incredible. People pilgrimage across the waters. You have to work the tide, and you usually have someone that you walk with as a guide. But it's absolutely stunning example of medieval architecture, and just incredible place, breathtaking, really. So I have got some items that I bought earlier in the year from Mont Saint-Michel when we went in May, that I specifically purchased to give away to some of you. So if you are interested in being part of the 5,000 subscriber giveaway, then please make sure you like my video, comment on my video, and say that you're interested in the draw. And I'll do the same as what I did for the Ladybird timer. Now, I'm on 4,100 subscribers, so it's going to take me a while to find another 900. But if you are watching my videos and you haven't already subscribed, or perhaps you are subscribed, but you might have suddenly become unsubscribed. If that's you, please do subscribe to my channel. It really helps me, and it's going to be really exciting when I do this giveaway. And look out, right at the very end of the video, I'm going to do a little clip of the items so you can see them for yourself. The only thing that I need to double check is I need to double check that I can post them around the world. Because particularly sending to America, there's always rules and restrictions of things that you can't send. And you go along to the post office, they always ask you what's in the package, and you have to provide a detailed explanation to the post office staff, which for, good reasons, but I always think it's quite intrusive. There's the obvious things like no batteries, you can't send food and that sort of thing, so that's not going to be a problem. So I think it'll be okay, but I will double check before we actually do the giveaway so people know. So before I show you those items and before the end of my video, I have got time to go through a couple more comments. So Lurkin Caro says, we say dishwater blonde in America. It means like a medium or dirty blonde. I used to do hair. So I said some people say dirty blondes, but neither are compliments, with a little laughing face. And Lurkin Caro replied to say maybe dirty could be replaced with sandy. My hair is ash toned, so I've had people ask why my hair is grey, but it isn't. Only in certain lighting it appears that way because of the undertones. Very annoying. I think your hair sounds lovely. It was quite interesting. When we were in London, a lady behind the till, she was chatting away from me. She was from Brazil, and it made me think about a couple of my subscribers that are from Brazil. And she's really, really lovely. And she said that she'd just flown back to somewhere in Brazil to meet her granddaughter. And they'd all met back home in Brazil because her granddaughter actually now and her daughter is in Canada. So she doesn't see her much. And I was chattering away to her, and the lady next to her was talking to my daughter and asked my daughter what her name was. So my daughter said, and she said, oh, that's interesting. We work with a lady with the same name as you, and she's got red hair too. And I glanced at my daughter's hair, and as the light was shining through the window, you could really see the amount of red in my daughter's hair. But she's like a dark blonde, light brown. She used to be really blonde, but it's quite interesting that the lady said she's a redhead too. In other words, my daughter is a redhead. So it's interesting how people can see different colours and how they describe different colours of hair, isn't it? Nan Holmes says that's one reason why we don't have carpets, hardwood floors. Yeah, I think there's a lot of benefits for hardwood floors. Also, as temperatures increase, it's quite good to keep your house cooler. Carrie Rawson says, hi Emma, I've watched your video and it had no adverts in it. Keep up the good work, your home is really starting to shine. Thank you very much. I have had a problem with YouTube where they keep on switching off the mid-roll adverts. So thank you for telling me when they switch off, because then I can go in and change the settings. Barbara Crowley says, so enjoy watching you. I'm a minimalist, but I love watching you, from Exton, PA. Thank you, Barbara, for your message and for letting me know where you're from. Cami Hale says, at 5:20, could you put the papers on the doors in a scrapbook or folder? Visual clutter like that can make a huge difference mentally when you walk into a room. I do know what you mean, Cami. If you have lots of different things up on cupboards and so on. I'll have to double check at 5:20 whether that's talking about my front door or my kitchen cabinets. I used to have more of my kitchen cabinets. The ones that I've got left, they have been there for many years and they are special to me. and I do like them. So up until the point where they become stained, damaged, etc., etc., and then I'll take them down. The ones on my front door, they come down every year and the new ones go up. And as my daughter gets older, there's fewer certificates that come home from school. So there used to be, you know, I'd put all the credits. So every single time she got a credit, they were on the door. Or, you know, a special announcement. And then she got 3... they weren't called credits. I can't think what they were called. But once you got like 3 credits, she then got a certificate and got a bronze award, silver award, gold award, and so on. And so they used to all be on the door, but that's all changed now. Brett says, you have come so far in your decluttering and tidying journey, Emma. Something you said today made me think you may be ready, if you haven't already, to take the Clutterbug quiz by Kaz of the Clutterbug. It might be a fun activity for you and your daughter and maybe your husband, together to help discover your organising type. Brett, I can tell you, I'm untidy. I'm the untidy type. It may help you to solve the issue of your safe places that you can't locate. I think it just helps you understand yourself better. You seem ready for that stage now. It doesn't stipulate that you actually have to do anything different in your day-to-day life if you aren't ready. Best to you and all of yours. Lovely comment as always, Brett. Thank you very much. Deja Grenage says, hello, lovely Emma. I love watching your videos. I love hearing your calm and soothing voice. Wow, that's a lovely compliment. Thank you. Stacey from Virginia. Holly. Oh, hello, Holly. How are you? And how are your children? Holly says, our hall carpet doesn't stay clean for long with the dogs and children in bad weather, so I lay old towels down so I can wash them. I do love having carpet. It is cosy, but so annoying in the bad weather. I have greys and I'm in my early 30s. I've never dyed my hair, not sure if I will in the future. I've just left it. Now, I have seen a photograph of Holly and all her family, and her hair looked lovely. So I would recommend she doesn't do anything with it. Looks nice. House is looking so good. I think your utensils and bread bin look lovely on the side. It's still lived in, but very tidy. And I did reply to say, good idea with the towels. I do need to buy a new front doormat. Your hair looked nice in the photo. I think it looks dark brown. My sister's hair is a similar colour. Hope the children are well and baby is still thriving. And I hadn't, YouTube doesn't always tell me when there was a reply. So I hadn't actually seen Holly had replied to my post. But Holly says, close up you'll see plenty of greys. But thank you. Yes, thank you. Just had great parents' evening for my daughter. Oh, well done, daughter. Well done, Holly's daughter. And baby has a 3rd tooth on the way, so spends all night being snuggled. Oh. Hope you're having a good week. Sending love. Oh, lovely. Are you back at church, Holly? Do you go to church on a regular basis? I'm not sure. Some churches are easier with babies than others, aren't they? I don't know how easy yours is. Gaynor Ferris says, bless you, Emma. You never stop. You are doing brilliantly with sorting your home. I loved watching you clean your hall rug. ASMR. Very satisfying seeing the damp stripes. A warning sign is a great idea for delivery men with the hedgehog. I always thought carpet cleaners were great at sucking most of the water out of the carpets and sofas. That would put me off. I'm sick of getting my hair coloured. I'm 54 and I'm not ready to let it just come through. I'm going to watch your video giving your opinion on your new Hoover. I think I would like a new one. I've never had a cordless vac. This might be the decider for me. Yeah, so I said about how I've got my little handheld. That is a cordless one, which does have the long bit on it, but I tend to just keep it small. And I keep it at the side of my sofa on charge, probably using far too much electricity thinking about it. Not really thought about that, because I leave it on all the time. That's like a constant drain. Might need to think about that. But anyway, I leave it there and it's just really good to quickly go around the rug and so on. Great progress in this video, Emma. Side note, I hate painting, but I love cleaning and clearing cupboards, etc. So I love watching your progress. Oh, thank you ever so much for your lovely comment, Gaynor. That's really nice. Shimala Wikrimasingi says, I recommend washing carpets in the summer. I did mine this summer. So this is very wise advice, and I'm not going to be doing any more of my carpets this side of spring.
I like the witches.
Same. I want to eat one.
So that's the end of my video. So thank you so much for watching my video and for all your support, likes and comments and shares. And here's a sneak peek of the items that I will be giving away when I get to 5,000 subscribers. Thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!